Hello everyone. In this video I am starting chapter number 7, that is structural organization in animals. Now if you remember, in chapter number 4, that was about animal kingdom, we had discussed about the levels of organization. So at that time we also, in the first chapter also, we have discussed about the two kinds of organisms. One is the unicellular organism and another one is multicellular organism. This is based on the number of cells. Now in case of unicellular organisms, these organisms are having a single cell, and as a result of that, whatever function has to be performed, like for example let us say digestion, respiration, reproduction, excretion, all the processes has to be performed, or let us say are performed by a single cell. But when we talk about a multicellular organisms here, what happens here in this case, since there are so many cells, now these cells are organized at different levels, and after getting organized, they, some of them, they unite together, aggregate together and carry out a similar kind of function, or they perform a simple or basic functions. Later on what happens, at different levels, this grouping, you can say, or aggregation of cells, tissues, organs takes place. As a result, what happen, an organism is able to exist, or otherwise is able to lead a successful life. Now here in this case, multicellular animals we are talking here, because the chapter's name itself is what? Structural organization in animals. So here I am talking about what? Multicellular animals. Similar kind of functions are performed by a different, or otherwise let us say different group of cells here, different types of or different groups of cells here in a well organized manner. And in this case, the structure of the cells will vary according to their function. Means over here what we are talking, let us say any tissue we are talking, or any organ, let us say the cells present in our eyes will be different from the cells which are present in our kidney. Means over here the cells which are present in different structures or different organs, their structures will be different, or they are going to be different based on the function that they have to perform in the organ where they are present. So if you remember, we had discussed in chapter number 4 about the cellular level, then later on at the tissue level, organ level, organ system level, and then at an organism level. Now let us have a look on this, that is various levels of organizations over here. Various levels of organization. Here what is present, same thing I have discussed here in this case also, that is the tissue. What is a tissue, what is an organ, then later on what is an organ system or how it is formed, and then how an individual organism is able to lead or survive. Here various levels of organizations that we have discussed in chapter number 4. Now based on that, if we go little lower than the cellular level, that is the atomic and molecular level, you know about the atoms. Let us say when you are writing O2 or H2, that means what? 2 represents the number of atoms. H2 when you are writing means what? 2 atoms of hydrogen are present in one molecule. Now if you see this figure here, let us say this is H2O. 2 hydrogens are attached covalently to one oxygen. So as the result, H2O, this is forming a molecule. But if only one atom of hydrogen you are taking, only one atom of oxygen you are talking, that is we are talking at atomic level. And when more than one atoms combine together, they form a molecule. Like I said, H2O2. That means in case of oxygen and hydrogen, both two atoms of hydrogen forms one molecule of hydrogen, and likewise two atoms of oxygen combine together or unite together and form a molecule. Here in this case what I said, H2O, let us say this one. At the central part is O, and on the lateral side towards the left and also towards the right side one hydrogen is present. That means H2O2 hydrogen is covalently bonded with one oxygen. So this is a molecule of water. Likewise, let us say CO2, one carbon attached to two oxygen. Covalently they are bonded, so that will be a molecule of carbon dioxide. Here we are talking about atomic and molecular level, that is the molecules are made of atoms of element, like for example carbon, nitrogen, hydrogen, sulfur, what I discussed earlier, hydrogen, oxygen, these non-living things, and these elements over here, that is the atoms or molecules, are non-living, but they form the protoplasm. When they unite together, they form the protoplasm of a living cell. Then coming to the formation of a cell, inside the cell is the cytoplasm, which is bounded by a cell membrane. Now inside the cell membrane are enclosed what I said, cell organelles, which are made up of different atoms and molecules. So when these atoms and molecules are united, so many biomolecules are formed, like proteins, nucleic acid like DNA and RNA, carbohydrates are there, proteins are there. All these make the structure different biomolecule, and they make the cell organelles, where cell organelles are carrying different kind of function in the cell. That is, they are present in the cytoplasm and they perform different kind of function. Let us take one example of a ribosome. What does ribosome do? It does the function of synthesizing the protein. Is it right here? Now coming to the cellular level, here I was talking that all living things are made up of cells, and these are the structural and functional unit of life. When more than one cells, they unite together, they aggregate together, and they aggregate in such a way that they form an organized structure, which is now called as a tissue. And this tissue is actually having what? The opposite way. The tissue is made up of a group of cells which are similar in structure. The cells which are united together in a tissue, they are made up of a similar kind of cells which are having similar structure, and they carry or they perform similar kind of function. Coming to the next level is the organ level. When more than one tissues combine together, they form an organ. They form an organ means what? Many tissues they combine to form an organ, and this organ performs a particular kind of function. Like for example, let us say the kidney. You have studied in the earlier class that kidney is made up of lakhs of structures which are the structural and functional unit of the kidney, and these are called as nephrons. So what happens here? The kidney is made up of so many cells, and the kidney is an organ here. So many tissues have combined together to form this organ, so that organ can perform a particular kind of function. Like here you can see in this stomach has been shown here. Over here muscle tissue was shown. Coming to the next level, when more than one organ they unite together and form organ system. Now this organ system performs a similar kind of activities, and this is important over here. This is important over here because they have to perform a similar kind of function here. They have to perform a similar kind of function. Like for example, let us say digestive system is shown in this figure. That means starting from the alimentary canal. Alimentary canal, starts from the mouth and ends at the anus. In between, so many other organs are present. These organs carry out or perform different kind of function. Now along with the organs which are present here in the alimentary canal, there are some glands also like liver, pancreas, salivary gland. All these are accessory gland which are actually not a part of alimentary canal, but they still help in the process of digestion by pouring their secretion into the alimentary canal. So here so many organs, when they unite together and they perform a particular kind of life activities. Here we are talking about the digestion is one of the life activities, life processes you have learned in the earlier class. So this is an organ system. Now when more than one organ systems are united together or are present in a particular, let us say, organism, human being, we are having so many systems like nervous system, then circulatory system, excretory system, right? No, then skeletal system, muscular system, reproductive system. All these systems, they carry out different kind of functions, and as a result of that, the multicellular organism like human body is made up. Means what? Several organ systems, they function or they work together performing different kind of function so that a particular individual organism is able to survive and carry on the different life processes. Now when we talk about the animal tissues, the chapter's name itself is what? Organization in animal, that is structural organization in animal. So before we go on to learn about different organisms, we have to learn first of all about the tissues. What are the different kinds of animal tissues? So over here basically the animal body is basically made up of only four types of cells or four types of tissue, not cells here. Four types of tissues are over here, form the different part or let us say different organs and organ system of an animal. The four tissues are here. First one, let us say epithelial tissue. Second one is connective tissue, muscular tissue, and neural or otherwise nervous tissue. Here we can add tissue. Everywhere we have to go on adding over here because I have not added here tissue. Let me add it here now only. So that means what? Four different types of tissues make up the whole body of an animal. Once again, four types of tissues are epithelial tissues, second one is connective tissue, muscular tissue, and neural or otherwise nervous tissue. Now coming to the first one, let us see epithelial tissue. What is epithelial tissue? Now when we talk about epithelial tissue, we refer, in short we can write as what? Epithelium. Epithelial tissues also can be called as epithelium. So once again we refer epithelial tissue as what? Epithelium. This is singular form, but when we have to write plural form, we can write as epithelia. Epithelia is plural form, epithelium is singular form. So instead of epithelial tissue, we can write as or we can refer as epithelium. Now this epithelium or epithelial tissue has a free surface which faces a body fluid or otherwise outside environment. Like let us say here in case of our skin, it is facing the outside environment. Let us consider the blood vessel. So blood vessel has outer surface and inner. That is outer means the, let us consider blood vessel as a pipe like. So outer side it is covered with epithelial cell or epithelial tissue, and on the inner side where the blood has to be transported or blood has to flow, over there also epithelial tissue is covering. Means what? It forms the outer lining and also the inner lining. That means what? Wherever it is present, here I was talking about facing either a body fluid, let us say in case of blood flow in the blood vessel, artery or vein or capillary, inner side where the blood is flowing, that is the body fluid here. And outside environment one means what? Outside, let us say the blood vessel, outer membrane or outer layer here, which provides here both ways, either inner or outer, both places. First of all, it is providing a covering, means it covers the other inner layers. And as a result of that, what happens? This epithelial tissue, they are having, or they are tissue we are talking, that means more than one cells are combined together. They are combined in such a way, or they are arranged in such a way that there is no intercellular spaces or matrix present, and if at all it is present, very little, only for acting like a cementing material, so that the adjacent cells are joined tightly to each other. Now there are two types of epithelial tissue. We can classify, or we can divide epithelial tissue into two groups. One is the simple epithelium and the other one is complex. But let us call over here as what? Three different types, not two types. I am talking here about division of or classification of epithelial tissue into three types. Let us have a look in this flow chart. Three types are over here: simple epithelium, compound epithelium, and glandular epithelium. Some of the cells of simple epithelium, they become glandular, means they function to secrete some substances like enzymes and hormones, tears, saliva. All these are being synthesized or produced, secreted by some cells, that is group of cells here. Either they are single cell, or even there are others which are multicellular. We will be discussing one by one. So here what happens, once again, epithelial tissue is, let us say, classified into three types: simple epithelium, compound epithelium, and the third one is glandular epithelium. Now here let us start with the simple epithelium. Or how simple or compound here? Compound can also be called as complex epithelium. Now in case of simple epithelium, what happens? This is having a single layer. This is having only a single layer, and that's why it is called a simple epithelium. Whereas when we talk about the second one, compound epithelium, over here more than one layers are there. Let us say here two or more than two layers of cells are there. As a result of that, a compound epithelium is formed. Now here what I was talking about simple epithelium, that this is made up of or otherwise composed of a single layer of cell, and it function as a lining of body cavities, ducts or tubes. Means over here body cavity is being lined, covered, let us say here, or otherwise the pipelines are there, some tubes are there. Like I said, I gave example of blood vessel. Let us take here the example of intestine. So intestine, outer side and on the inner side. Inner side, the food, whether it is digested or undigested, is passing. And on the outer side, it is covered by again this simple epithelium. Means both places here we are talking here epithelium tissue is present as a covering, and it has different kind of structures in different part of our body. So based on that, it has been further classified into 5 different types. So if you see here, on the basis of structural modification of the cells, simple epithelium is further divided into 5 types. And these 5 types are: the first one is squamous, the second one is squamous, second one is cuboidal, third one is columnar, fourth one is ciliated, and the fifth one is pseudo stratified. So one by one we will be discussing. I will be discussing here first about the simple epithelium, then I will come to the second and the third one. Before we start with these 5 types, once again you see in the flow chart: squamous epithelium, cuboidal epithelium, columnar epithelium, ciliated epithelium, and pseudo stratified epithelium. The figure, just have a look over here. The first one here is the simplest form here, simple squamous epithelium. In this case what happened, it is almost like a tile, the tile that covers our house, the flooring is done. they are very thin and flat. The second one is cuboidal here. Cube, you understand, length, breadth and height are same here, almost same, but on the surface you can find different shapes will be there, polygonal, let us say here. Then next one is columnar, where what happens, the height is more than the length and the breadth. Here in this case of cuboid, what I said, length, breadth and height is almost similar, but from the surface when you see, they are not exactly squares, they are polygonal. But when we see in case of columnar epithelium, here the height is more than as compared to the breadth and the length here. The fourth one is simple ciliated epithelium. Ciliated epithelium means what? Over here either the cells are cuboidal or columnar. Any of these two are there. But presence of a cilia is there here. In this case, presence of cilia is there, and as a result of that, the name has come as ciliated epithelium. And the fifth one over here is pseudostratified. Pseudostratified or pseudo-ciliated, let's say here. In this case, what you can see, it is the cells are having, or cells are taller here. Some cells are taller and some cells you can see are smaller in height. And as a result, you can see over here it is looking like multi-layered, but actually it is only one layer. And because it is looking like multi-layered, even though it is a single layer, the name has come as pseudo over here. Pseudo means false. You understand that? Pseudopodia, if you remember in case of amoeba, you have learnt about amoeba. Pseudopodia is the false feet. Here we are talking about the name of the epithelium as pseudo-ciliated. Now let us see the details about all these 5 types of simple epithelium or simple epithelial tissue. The first one over here, I have placed all these in column so that it becomes easy for us to remember it. First one is squamous epithelium. This is the squamous epithelium. Now over here what happens, this is composed of a single layer of flat or flattened tile-like cells, which what I said, polygonal in shape. When you see from the surface, it looks like it has more than 4 or 5 sides. Let us say triangle, quadrilateral, pentagon, hexagon, you know all that. All those are called as polygon. So here what we are talking, that the cells are composed of single layer only, and these cells are flat, tile-like. Polygonal cells are present here, and they are also called as pavement epithelium because of its flatness. Here the word has been used here, flattened, or otherwise simply you can write as flat also. The nuclei over here, nuclei, the cell is flat, so as a result of that, the nuclei also is flat. And these nuclei are generally, they are found at the center of the cell. But what you can find at the center of the cell, little bit the cells will be bulged out. The cells will be bulged out. You can see in this figure how it is looking bulging at the center. In this figure you cannot see very clearly, but over here you can see bulging out over here at the center. But this is a different cell. Here I am talking about only the first one, squamous epithelium. Now where is the location, where it is found? So it is present in the bronchioles and alveoli. Terminal bronchioles and alveoli. I hope you understand where is the bronchiole. Bronchi, you know, our trachea that comes from the pharynx in the neck region. And then in the chest cavity it divides into bronchi, and further this bronchi enters into each lungs, left and right lungs, divides into smaller branches which are called as bronchioles, and then it terminates into an alveoli. So what happens here, this epithelium, that is squamous epithelium, is present in the bronchioles, terminal bronchiole, and also in alveoli. Then it is present in the wall of Bowman's capsule. You understand where is Bowman's capsule, that is we are talking about the nephron. And then descending limb of loop of Henle, DCT and PCT if you remember. Then next one is, it is present in blood vessel on the inner wall, inner lining, endothelium, that's why. Lymph vessel it is present there, heart mein hai, and then it is also present in the coelomic cavity. Wherever the body cavity is present on the inner lining, it is present, and this is called as mesothelium. You remember three different layers: ectoderm, mesoderm, endoderm. So the wall of the mesoderm layer, it forms the lining of the body cavity or coelomic cavity. So that's why here we are talking about what? The presence of this squamous epithelium in the coelomic cavity, and also it is present in reed testis. Now reed testis is present in the testis. Inside the testis, so many compartments are there which are called as lobules, and each lobules have seminiferous tubules. What is that? Seminiferous tubules, where what happens, the formation of sperm cells take place. So in the structure of testis is present the reed testis, which you will learn later the next year. The function, next one is talking about the function, as to what is the function that is performed by squamous epithelium: protection, excretion, gas exchange, and secretion of coelomic fluid. Here we discussed about where it is present, coelomic cavities may be present hai. So what activity or what function it is going to do? Here it produces or it secretes the fluid which is present in the body cavity or the coelom. That was the first one, squamous epithelium. Let us come to the second one here. Second one is about cuboidal epithelium. Second one is cuboidal epithelium. Now this consists of short cube shaped cells. This consists of short cube shaped cells, and the nuclei over here are located in the center of the cell. Nucleus is located in the center of the cell, and the cells of this epithelium are often forming what? Microvilli. I hope you understand. You remember villi you have learnt in the digestive system, that also in the small intestine villi padha tha tumne. And here on the villi further, let us say, folding takes place, that is called as microvilli. So here on the cells of cuboidal epithelium, they are having microvilli on their free surface, which increase the area, surface area for absorption. एब्जॉर्प्शन करना इनका फंक्शन है, तो एब्जॉर्प्शन करने के लिए सरफेस एरिया यहाँ पर क्या हो रहा है? इंक्रीज हो जा रहा है. Then it gives a brush like appearance because of formation of this, what I said here, the microvilli की वजह से क्या हो रहा है? ब्रश लाइक अपीयरेंस हो जाता है. And it is also, that's why referred to as brush bordered cuboidal epithelium. When we come to the excretory chapter, over there in the kidney we will learn about this brush border cells, or brush border cuboidal cells are present there. Coming to the location, so they are present in the small salivary and pancreatic duct. Salivary gland, you understand, pancreas you know. So smaller branches are there. Smaller branches means I am talking here the tube or the duct, pipeline through which the secretion is transported. The second one, where it is present, the thyroid follicle, thyroid gland की बात कर रहे हैं. Then it is present in the parts of membranous labyrinth. Membranous labyrinth is present inside the ear. When you come to the chapter of ear, that is neural system, in that when we come to learn about the sense organ, we will be discussing about the ear and eye in detail. So when you learn about ear, you will learn over there membranous and bony labyrinth is there, inside which is the hearing organ. Next one, where it is present, is a proximal and distal convoluted tubule of nephron of kidney. You understand what is PCT and DCT. So here proximal convoluted tubule, distal convoluted tubule of the nephron. Present also in the ovaries, seminiferous tubule. Sometime back I told about the testis. Then ciliary bodies. Ciliary body is present in our eye, which controls or helps in the adjustment of focal length of our eye, so that we are able to see near objects or far objects. Then again in the eye only, choroid is there, iris of the eye, and also it is present in our sweat gland. What function it performs? It performs the function like protection, secretion, absorption, excretion, and also in the process of formation of gamete. That means gamete formation. Coming to the third one. Third one here is about over here is about what? Columnar epithelium. Here we are talking about what? Columnar epithelium. That is, the cells over here are elongated. Let us have a look in the figure. Columnar, this is cuboidal. Second one I have just now discussed. This is third one I am discussing. Columnar, where the height is little more, or they are taller in height, let us say. So what happens in this case? That they are elongated, the cells are elongated, and they are placed side by side like a column, almost like you can say pillar like. And the outer surface means at the tip over here in the figure, let us say here, on the outer surface is this one, at the tip here, they are little broader. Lower side is thinner, but on the top they are broader, and nucleus inside the cell आर समवट एलोंगेटेड. मतलब क्या हुआ? थोड़े लॉन्ग है, ओवल से भी ज़्यादा. ओवल यू अंडरस्टैंड, बट if little bit more flattening take place, then it will become elongated, and they lie near to the base. Means एकदम नीचे base पर present है nucleus. And some cells are there which are producing or which are responsible for production of mucus. So they are called as mucus cells or otherwise goblet cells. उनका स्पेशल नाम क्या चीज़ है? गॉबलेट सेल है. Specific name has been given as goblet cells. If you remember, you have learnt about the digestive system. In the stomach, from the wall of the stomach, secretion is produced which is called as gastric juice. It contains three substances. One is the mucus, dilute HCl, and pepsinogen. So that mucus that is produced there is produced by this cell, that is called as goblet cell, or otherwise it can also be called as mucus cells. Also can be called as mucus cells because they are responsible for production of mucus. Coming to the location, where it is located. So it is located in the lining of the stomach, means in the inner wall of the stomach, in the wall of the intestine, gallbladder, bile duct, all these are related to the digestive system. Then it has a secretory function or secretory role over here, and because of that it is called as glandular epithelium, which I am going to discuss as a separate topic at the end. And over here we are talking about what? Secretory role, which is called as, that's why the cells over here or the epithelium is referred to as glandular epithelium. Like for example, it is present in gastric gland, that is in the stomach wall, what I said, intestinal gland, in the wall of the intestine some glands are there, and also they are present in the pancreas, that is the pancreatic lobules are there. Small parts are there or small lobes are created, and lobes are further having smaller division, that is called as lobules. Coming to the intestinal mucosa, means in the intestine inner wall, what is there? Intestinal mucosa, they have microvilli. Earlier I have discussed about the microvilli, which increases the surface area. So here this is talking about what? Intestinal mucosa, they have microvilli. So that what happens, the surface area is increased, and when the surface area is increased, more absorption or efficient absorption of the digested food can take place, and that is why it is also referred to as brush bordered columnar epithelium. Brush bordered columnar epithelium, and the function is mainly protection, secretion, and absorption. Now the fourth one, the fourth epithelium is ciliated epithelium. What I had said earlier, let us have a look first of all in the figure. This ciliated epithelium is having the presence of cilia. The cells may be either cuboidal or columnar, but the presence of cilia over here makes it different from the columnar and cuboidal cells. Means in the ciliated epithelium, the cells are either cuboidal or columnar, but the presence of cilia over here makes it different from the columnar and cuboidal epithelium. So as a result of that, it helps in movement of certain substances. Let us say in our trachea, in the female oviduct or fallopian tube, in the seminiferous tubules. We will discuss where is the location, but let us say first of all details as to what is the structure of ciliated epithelium. Now here the cells of this apical cells of their apical surface मतलब सबसे ऊपर का surface क्या बोल रहे हैं, they have numerous delicate hair like outgrowth, delicate hair like outgrowth over here. Upper surface you can see in the figure here, cilia, and the cells over here are elongated. In this case the nucleus is present, and somewhere in between some supporting cells and also mucus cells you can find, which are responsible for secretion of certain substances like mucus. Already I mentioned about this one. Then this is of two types. Ciliated epithelium can be of two types. They can be ciliated columnar epithelium, or otherwise they can be ciliated cuboidal epithelium. As the name suggests here, columnar and cuboidal. मतलब क्या हुआ कि columnar epithelium है, presence of cilia की वजह से इनका नाम या classification अलग हो गया, ciliated epithelium है. Now this cell, ciliated columnar epithelium, have cilia on their free surface. Likewise, the second one also ciliated cuboidal epithelium, they also have the cells on the free surface. Now, where is the location of ciliated columnar epithelium? So, they are present in the respiratory tract. They are or they line most of the respiratory surface here, respiratory tract over here. Tract मतलब ये हो गया कि trachea and bronchioles we are talking here. Then it is present in the fallopian. Sometime back I had told you about the trachea. In the trachea what happens, the mucus is produced, and the cells over here which are lining on the inner surface of the trachea are of this type, ciliated columnar epithelium. So as a result what happens, they continuously beat or moved on the outer side, so that whatever substances, let us say over here the mucus along with some dust particles, and also some germs which have got stick or entangled into the mucus of the mucus which is present on the inner wall of the trachea, they all have to be removed outside. Now how they will be removed, or how this will be removed? This will be removed with the help of this ciliated epithelium, which beats in the outward direction. So as the cilia beats in the outward direction, and sometime you must have observed that when we cough, what happens in our neck region, something we feel that something is there, and when we cough what happens, cough, that is actually a mucus, it comes out and we have to spit that, उसको हम बाद में थूकते हैं. तो that is actually talking about what, the lining. Where is the location? Lining that lines most of the respiratory tract here. Then next one is fallopian tube. In the fallopian tube you understand it connects the uterus and the ovary. So from ovary, when the ovum is released, it has to move towards the uterus. So the ciliated cells which are present, they help in the movement of the ovum towards the uterus. Then it is present in the ventricles of the brain. You don't know now what is ventricle of brain. When we come to this chapter of neural system, at that time you will learn about this. Ventricles are there in our brain also. Then it is present in the central canal of spinal cord, tympanic cavity of middle ear and eustachian tube. Over here tympanic cavity क्या है? You know in the ear we are having a membrane which is called as tympanic membrane बोलो या फिर simply बोलो eardrum. Now this eardrum is lined on the outer side by this ciliated epithelium, and also eustachian tube is connected to that so that it can balance the air pressure from inside to outside and also from outside to inside, so that because of pressure our eardrum or tympanic membrane should not get damaged. But here at present we are not talking about the function, we are talking only about the location of this ciliated epithelium. कहाँ पर present है? Tympanic cavity पर है. यानी कि ईयर ड्रम पर है, एंड ऑल्सो इट इज प्रेजेंट ऑन द यूस्टेशियन ट्यूब. नेक्स्ट वन इज इट अकर्स इन सर्टेन पार्ट्स ऑफ नेफ्रॉन ऑल्सो. नेफ्रॉन में भी होता है. कौन सा? आई एम टॉकिंग अबाउट हियर सिलिएटेड एपिथेलियम. एंड coming to the function, they maintain the flow of mucus, urine and cerebrospinal fluid in particular direction. You understand all these mucus, urine and CSF, you know, उनका मूवमेंट एक डायरेक्शन में होना चाहिए. तो दिस इज मेंटेन्ड इन वन डायरेक्शन बिकॉज द सिलिया इज गोइंग टू मूव इन वन डायरेक्शन, अ फिक्स डायरेक्शन ओनली. देन इन केस ऑफ द नेफ्रॉन, व्हेन वी आर टॉकिंग in the nephron, what happens? The cilia helps in movement of the urine in one direction, and in the fallopian tube, earlier I have discussed that it helps in the movement of the ovum or the egg from the ovary after it is released towards the uterus. And the last one over here is pseudo stratified epithelium. Pseudo stratified epithelium. This is the fifth one over here. Now the cells over here are columnar, but they are unequal in size. Why it is unequal in size? In the figure, let us have a look here. The last one here, some cells are taller and some cells are shorter, and as a result of that, you can see this will be looking like a multi-layered, but actually it is only one layer. Only thing that some cells are taller and some cells are shorter. Now see the level of the nucleus also. The nucleus in the taller cells are little bit at higher level, whereas the nucleus in case of the cells which are smaller is at lower level. So as a result of that, you can see that this will look like a multi-layered, and as a result of that, it is creating a false appearance, and that is why the name has been given as pseudo-ciliated or pseudo-stratified. The name given over here is what? Pseudo-stratified epithelium. So here what I was talking, the longer cells extend up to free surface and have an oval nuclei. Short cells do not reach the outer free surface and have rounded nuclei. चेक करो क्या बोल रहे हैं, लॉन्गर सेल्स है उसमें न्यूक्लियस कैसा है? ओवल है. बट शॉर्ट सेल्स आर देयर न्यूक्लियस इज राउंडेड. Then mucus secreting cells are present over here also in between, which are called as, you know, goblet cells. Earlier we have discussed about this. The epithelium is one cell thick only, but it appears to be multi-layered because the nuclei lie at different level in different cells. Taller cell में जो है क्या हो रहा है? The level of the nucleus is higher, and shorter cells में क्या हो रहा है? The level is lower. So as a result of that, it looks like it is multi-layered. Now this can be of two types further. What is that? Pseudo stratified columnar epithelium and pseudo stratified columnar ciliated. यहाँ पर सिर्फ क्या ऐड हो गया? Ciliated extra ऐड हो गया. Now coming to the first one, pseudo stratified columnar epithelium, where it is located. So this is located in large duct of parotid salivary gland. अब ये parotid salivary gland कहाँ पर है? We are having three pair of salivary gland. One of this, यानी कि one pair out of this is called as parotid gland. This parotid gland is located just in front of the ear, little bit on the lower side, below the ear but in front. So as a result over here, this is the largest over here. So in the duct of this parotid gland, this epithelium, pseudo stratified columnar epithelium, is present. Then it is also present in the urethra of human male and also in the olfactory mucosa, which is related to our smell, the nose here. And then second one, pseudo stratified ciliated epithelium, where it is located? So this is located in the trachea and in larger bronchi. Larger bronchi मतलब ये हुआ कि trachea comes into the chest region, and then it divides into two bronchi, you know, and then each bronchi on the left and right enter into the each lungs, left and the right lungs. And what function it performs? Protection, secretion, and then the movement of secretion from the glands. Urine and semen in the male urethra, and mucus loaded with dust particles and bacteria from trachea towards the larynx. ये सभी क्या बात किया मैंने, मूवमेंट की बात की मैंने, मूवमेंट ऑफ, पहला बात किया मैंने सेक्रीशन विच आर प्रोड्यूस बाय अ पर्टिकुलर ग्लैंड, उस ग्लैंड से सेक्रीशन को कहीं और ट्रांसपोर्ट करना है तो उसके मूवमेंट पे ये हेल्प कर रहा है. दूसरा जो है यूरिन एंड सेमेन का मूवमेंट इन द यूरेथ्रा. सेमेन मतलब यहाँ बात कर रहे हैं हम mixture of sperm cells and the secretion of gland seminiferous tubule, say what is that, uh, seminal vesicle, if you remember seminal vesicle, then uh, prostate gland, their secretion together is called as semen. And then last one is the mucus, which is along with the dust and other germs which enter into our respiratory passage, they all are moved outside by the beating of the ciliated cells over here. So that was about the simple epithelium. What I was discussing here is the simple epithelium. Now in case of the second one, I will be discussing first about the glandular. I will be discussing about the glandular first, but before that let's have a look on this once again. Squamous, first one is squamous, second one is cuboidal, third one is this columnar, and this is columnar cell bearing cilia, मतलब ये हो गया ciliated. This is fourth one is ciliated. And what I have shown you for earlier the figure, this is having all 5 types of simple epithelial tissues, or otherwise simple epithelium. So here I'll continue the next topic in the next video. Thank you.